Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome back to The Last Lap. In this episode we're going to be talking about everything you guys need to know about Nashville Super Speedway, because it's going to be a triple header with all three series of NASCAR racing there this weekend. But before we hop into it, I do just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, helps the channel grow, helps us reach new people. And you can also check us out on Instagram at The Last Lap News. We post stuff on there like highlights and everything, just fun stuff every now and then on Instagram, so you can check us out there as well. And without further ado, I have to always introduce my friend and co-host Matthew, who is joining me as always, and he'll be at Nashville this weekend, as we've said in the past few videos, so I'm sure he's really excited for that, and hopefully can get some at the track footage to give you guys. So Matthew, how you feeling headed into going to Nashville?
Well, I'm pretty excited. I've been looking forward to this for weeks now. I already started packing. I'll be hitting the road tomorrow to Nashville, so I'm ready for this weekend. I'm only going to see the Cup race, by the way. I won't be there for Xfinity and trucks, so I'll only see Cup. It's only be there for the Cup race, which I'm really am excited for.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and hop right into some news for you guys first, because that's how we do it on these episodes, these Friday videos. It's so weird because we're recording this Wednesday night, but anyways, so some news has come out this week. This isn't really news, but the SRX series made its debut last Saturday, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the series of racing series racing champions or something like that is what it stands for, but it's basically a group of all kinds of different drivers racing together, kind of for an exhibition kind of thing. It's really similar to the IROC series, which was way back in the day in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, where drivers from all kinds of different cars would come together and just race some really cool cars. And some of the main names in this are Tony Stewart. He was one of the guys that wanted to start this whole thing. Tony Kanaan from the IndyCar series was there. Elio Castroneves was there, the recent Indy 500 champion. He was racing. Bobby Labonte, Greg Biffle, Bill Elliott, Michael Waltrip, a few other big names in there as well. There were 12 drivers who raced, and the opening race was on Saturday night, as I said. And Doug Coby won the first race, and he was like a local veteran at the track they raced at. I think it was Stafford Motor Speedway or something up in Connecticut, and he ran all types of races there and everything. So he ended up winning the first race. There's 6 weeks total. Every Saturday they'll be racing, I think about 8 o'clock on CBS. And I really liked that they had Alan Beswick and Danica Patrick in the booth. I thought that was really cool. More Alan Beswick because he broadcasted NASCAR. Danica didn't really broadcast NASCAR. She raced NASCAR. But anyways, I really loved seeing Alan Beswick up there calling the race. And there's 5 weeks left. They'll be racing at mostly short tracks, asphalt, but they'll also be racing at Tony Stewart's own track, Eldora, the dirt track, in a few weeks. So that'll be really interesting to see. I think it's really cool that they're throwing this series on, get some older drivers back in there, throwing some IndyCar drivers in there as well, and just a wide variety of drivers. Predominantly NASCAR drivers, but a wide variety of drivers in general. So, Matthew, what did you think of the first SRX race on Saturday, and what do you think about like the whole series coming together in general, and what do you think it's going to look like for the rest of the summer?
Well, I thought it was a pretty fun race to watch. Unlike NASCAR, this XRS race didn't seem stressful like a typical NASCAR race would be for me. Like, it just felt fun, felt relaxing. It was fun to watch, It was cool to see these legends of motorsport drivers get together and race. There was only 2 problems I had though. One is the backup car situation. Like, it's cool that they can get their backup cars out, but the only thing is, like, I remember Bill Elliott had an issue like before like the heat race or something like that, and I guess they didn't get a backup car for him, so he couldn't race. So I feel like they need to like sort out like their backup car situation, like rules or how much time they have to do that. Just not make it really confusing. And another thing is there's caution because nothing was happening. I'm sorry, it just feels like the competition caution again that we had in the Truck Series a few years ago. Brings back bad memories, but I don't want to see that either. I know it's just for fun, but come on, we don't need that. Let's just be honest here. We don't need like phantom cautions or competition cautions. But other than that, it was pretty fun. It was really fun to watch, and I cannot wait to see the next coming races.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that they need to figure out just from the basic point of view. Like you said, the whole backup car situation, that was a little interesting. I think it was because Bill Elliott, like, they actually had the cars on track, and then he came in after the pace laps or something and pitted, and they couldn't get a backup car out in time or something. But the thing about the backup cars that I thought about while they were racing is Greg Biffle had a backup car, and he had basically fresh tires on his car while everybody else had to keep their same tires on as the heat race. And Greg Biffle just shot up through the field to like second or third, like really quick, because he had fresh tires on his backup car. So I thought that was kind of not, I don't know. It was interesting for sure, but I think everybody should have fresh tires heading into the main event and not have to race on old tires for the heat races and the main event. But overall, it was really cool to see those veterans of all kinds of motorsports race. So now we're going to talk about our next topic, and that's going to be a bit of a playoff update for you guys. We haven't really talked much about the playoff grid and where everybody is as far as wins and who doesn't have a win yet and who's above the cut line, who's below the cut line. So I did a little bit of research, and so I'm going to say there's 10 races left until the playoffs start. Daytona will be the cutoff race. There have been 11 winners so far, so that's 5 open spots for different winners to get into the playoffs. And if we don't get 5 different winners, obviously those final 5 spots will be based on points. Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, and Chris Buescher are the 5 drivers in on points right now. I don't see Denny Hamlin falling out because of points, because he's way ahead of everybody else. Like, he's first in normal points for this season so far, and I think he's going to get the regular season championship, so that'll get him locked into the playoffs. Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, Chris Buescher, like I said. Matt DiBenedetto is the first driver out of the playoffs, minus 60 points right now. And then Kurt Busch is also out of the playoffs. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Bubba Wallace is out of the playoffs, and all 3 other Stewart-Haas racing cars are out of the playoffs right now. They're like 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in points or something like that. They're all in a row, which is kind of funny, but Stewart-Haas Racing is not really looking good this year. Even with Kevin Harvick, yes, he's in the playoffs on points right now, but hasn't really led many laps this season. So kind of scratching my head a little bit, wondering what's going on with Stewart-Haas Racing there. For the schedule, there's some cool races coming up before the playoffs start. There'll be a Pocono doubleheader. I think that's the weekend after Nashville, so they'll be doing a cup race on Saturday and Sunday for Pocono, and they're going to be racing at Road America for the first time. I'm really excited about that track. I really love that track. They'll be racing at Watkins Glen, the Indianapolis Road Course. They'll be doing that for the first time, and the final race of the regular season will be at Daytona. So there could be some surprise winners in there somewhere to kind of shake up the playoff grid a little bit. Matthew, what do you think about these final 10 races? Do you think the 5 drivers in right now will stay in? Do you think somebody could win from the bottom and make their way in? What are you thinking about the rest of this regular season, these final 10 races?
Well, those three Stewart-Haas racing cars, definitely not going in the playoffs for sure. I mean, to be blunt, they suck. So, I mean, they're just not that good right now. So they have no chance, in my opinion, unless Daytona, which anything can happen there. And like you said, Harvick and Hamlin are definitely safe for sure. They're automatic locks already for me, unless we get like 5 different winners or in the bottom of the cut line, which I doubt. But anything can happen. But as impressive as Chris Buescher has been this year. I don't see him making the playoffs. Still, I feel like Kurt Busch will somehow sneak into that last spot. While Chris Buescher has been improving this year, and it's nice to see, I just don't think he'll be able to continue that and make the playoffs. I feel like Kurt Busch is going to catch up. Let's see. Tyler Reddick is in, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Both are
Tyler Reddick and
in
Austin Dillon are also in.
I think they'll be able to stay in my opinion. They've had speed this year, which is nice to see. I'm not going to count on Ross Chastain either. I feel like he's also been pretty decent. I mean, he hasn't been like impressive, but he's been decent enough that I feel like he'll be able to sneak his way in the playoffs too. So I'm not going to count him out either. Suarez, he's been a big surprise, but he's not going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. And same thing goes for Bubba Wallace. They just haven't showed the speed. It's a brand new team, and I just don't see them making the playoffs at all. But once again, we can all be wrong. Anything can happen, especially with these new tracks coming up. It could be anybody's game here, except when Hendrick has the top 4 spots all the time. So I doubt that. But yeah, I don't think it'll be the same when we get to Daytona for the final race.
Yeah, I think a lot could happen in these next 10 races. We could have another instance like Michael McDowell, somebody like that could win at Daytona again in July. We could have some road course action, something crazy happen on a road course. We saw it happen with Christopher Bell. He won on a road course earlier this year in Daytona. So a lot could happen in these next 10 races, and it's going to be an exciting summer, that's for sure. So, and just to briefly kind of mention this, we're not really going to talk about it, but NBC is going to take over coverage now. Fox Sports had it for the first half of the season. Now it'll be NBC for the rest of the year. So it'll be interesting for sure to see how well they do broadcasting these races through the summer. I think they'll handle it fine just because Fox was they started the season in COVID and had to deal with that. And yeah, but I don't know. I think NBC will be fine. It'll be interesting to see Dale Jr. back in the booth and Steve Letarte and all of them. So that'll be fun. But we're going to hop into our predictions this weekend for Nashville now. And since I got the most points last week, I almost really want to do what you did and pick the Truck and Xfinity pick first, but I'm going to stick with my Cup picks. So I'll let you do your Truck and Xfinity pick. I might be handing you 2 free points here, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So go ahead and give me your Truck and Xfinity picks for Nashville.
Well, for Truck Series, look, I can't stop picking him. It has to be John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, for obvious reasons, he's on fire right now. 4 wins. And even though we're going to a brand new track, I still feel like he's still going to shine out there with the practice and qualifying. So he's going to win the truck race. William Byron's also in the truck race, but it's not like in GMS equipment like Chase Elliott was last race. So I don't think he'll be able to run. I mean, he might, but I just still see John Hunter Nemechek dominating. Xfinity Series, of course. Guys going for his 100th Xfinity win, Kyle Busch again. And I think he's going to get 100 wins in Xfinity Series this weekend. And he's driving the same paint scheme as his regular M&M's car, which is kind of cool, to see his Cup paint scheme on the Xfinity body on a Supra. I think it makes it look cool with a different number too as well. So I'm going to go with Kyle Busch, of course.
Yeah, no surprise there with those picks. I forgot to mention William Byron will be racing, but yeah, like you said, he's not going to be in the best equipment, so he might or might not be able to contend. It's just really uncertain how good the truck he's going to be in might be. So I'm not going to pick William Byron, but he could be a threat. It just depends on his truck. But For me, I'm gonna pick Ben Rhodes. I feel like he could be a good pick for this weekend at Nashville. I would have picked Sheldon Creed, but he's just on such a terrible streak right now that I don't really have the confidence in picking him. So I'm gonna pick Sheldon or Ben Rhodes. He's gonna be my truck pick, and then for Xfinity, I was thinking about one driver, but I'm actually gonna switch it up. I'm gonna pick Austin Cindric because he ran really well last week at Texas. Shoved Kyle Busch to the win basically in the truck and in the Xfinity race at Texas. So Austin Cindric will be my Xfinity pick. I was thinking about Justin Allgaier possibly, but I'm gonna go with Austin Cindric. That's gonna be my Xfinity pick. And transitioning into the Cup Series now. Before I talk about my pick, I just want to share this paint scheme that was announced today, aka on Wednesday we're recording this, and it's going to be Kevin Harvick is going to be driving a Gravedigger Cup car. Like, it's literally the paint scheme after Gravedigger. I'll put a picture of it on the screen, but that thing looks so cool. Like, they couldn't have done it any better. Like, it looks so cool, and the story behind it is that Keelan Harvick, his son, brought the idea up with Stewart Haas Racing, probably his dad first, but it was like a Father's Day gift idea kind of thing, and it's a collaboration with Monster Jam because they'll be in Nashville in a few weeks. So that car just looks so good. It looks amazing, and there's pictures on social media with it next to the Gravedigger truck and everything. So I thought that was really cool. I don't know what you have to say about it. Maybe you can talk about it when you give your picks. But so for me in the Cup Series, I have to pick Kyle Larson as my main pick. Can he go 4 in a row? I don't know, but with the way he's running right now, he could win as many as a row as he can, just because he is, like, even above the other Hendrick cars, he has a tiny bit above the other Hendrick cars. Like, Hendrick Motorsports is here, Kyle Larson's, like, right here, slightly above that. So, even, like, he's beating Chase Elliott and William Byron every week, too. So, Kyle Larson will be my main pick. Speaking of Hendrick Motorsports, William Byron will be my second pick. I feel like him and Chase Elliott kind of go back and forth between who's the second best Hendrick car every week, but I feel like William Byron might be able to have the upper edge just a tiny bit on Chase Elliott here, so he's going to be my second pick. And then my third pick, you're going to be mad at me, but it's going to be Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is going to be my third pick because he has run Nashville in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series, so I feel like some of that experience could come in handy. It all depends on his car, honestly, because last week at the All-Star race, he did not have the best car. Still got a top 10 out of it, to be fair, but I feel like Kyle Busch will be a solid third pick because he has raced in the Trucks and the Xfinity Series there at Nashville. So go ahead and tell me your picks. I'm sure you're a little bit upset with one of my picks there, but go ahead and tell me what you got for this week in Nashville.
Really? You guys just say my job. I'm the one going in the race, man. Give me some break. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of a strategy with these picks this weekend because this track is going to be different than the other new tracks because a lot of the drivers, some of the drivers today have raced there before it shut down. So I feel like with that past experience could really give him an advantage compared to these young drivers that have never been on this track ever. So my main pick is going to be Joey Logano because he's actually won there at Nashville before in the back then Nationwide series. So I feel like that's going to come to advantage with that experience back then. I know it was a long time ago, but that's still experience. So that Joey Logano is going to be my main pick. My second pick is going to be Mark Truex Jr. because I think he's raced there in the Xfinity Series. Oh yeah, he did back in the day when he was driving for the number 8 car with DEI. So he'll be my second pick. And then my third pick is going to be this is a tough one. You know what? I'm going to go with the other Penske driver, Brad Keselowski. He's raced like I said. All these Cup drivers I'm picking here have experience in Nashville back then, so I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski with my third pick.
Yeah, I was almost kind of thinking about going that route too, but I don't know if the experience will pay off as much. I think right now you'd much rather have speed over experience, but it could play out that way. The Penske cars and Martin Truex could have more experience, and that could come in handy throughout the race. So I actually have that Joey Logano diecast up there, the old 2008 GameStop car when he reached the race for Joe Gibbs Racing. But yeah, Nashville this weekend, the triple header. As I already said, Matthew will be there. Hopefully we can get some cool footage we can show you guys. Our video for that might come out the Monday after the race, just depending on our or Tuesday after the race, just based on when we record and everything. But we'll be sure to keep you guys posted on Instagram and everything about that. But that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for this video. Like I said, our review video will be up later next week. Let us know who you got winning this weekend at Nashville, and we'll see you guys in the next video.